Hello aspirants, looking at current affairs for 25th Feb. The news items that we have picked up from the Hindu newspaper are these 11. We'll look at them in detail. The first one, Indian shot dead in US hate crime. So this is an unfortunate incident in which a 32-year-old Indian engineer was shot dead in USA by a 51-year-old Navy veteran. And before shooting, he shouted, "Get out of my country." While another American, a 24-year-old man, took a bullet in his chest trying to stop the shooter. So this incident has come forth and this gains significance in the present Western orientation too of having an inclusive economy and growth, in the sense not having jobs going out to outsiders. So they want to retain the jobs for themselves, jobs for the Americans in USA, the way even US President Donald Trump has been portraying as putting out his policies. So this incident gains significance in that context. The next news item is plan to allow larger firms to shut shop sans government nod, means without government nod. So this is the Labour Ministry's proposal that factories with up to 500 workers should be allowed to lay off workers and shut itself without seeking government's position. So presently this is there allowed till a limit of 100 workers. So if a factory has up to 100 workers, it is allowed to retrench. Retrench means laying off workers because workers lose their job. So to ensure that such untoward incidents don't happen and the workers suffer, that is why government permission is required for larger factories, but smaller ones are allowed. So now they want to increase, the Labour Ministry wants to increase this to 500 from 100. So that will require permission, that would require the Industries Disputes Act 1947 to be modified. So this is a proposal going from the Labour Ministry, and the group of ministers GOM will look into this proposal. So this has been put forth. Again, a similar recommendation had been put forth earlier too in May 2015, same proposal, but it was up to 300 workers. So at that time too, this also could not be done because the labor unions, they came up against it. So even for 300 workers, it could not take place in May 2015. So what would happen presently, we'll have to wait and watch. But the Labour Ministry gives data, backing it with data. It says that 99% of the total non-agricultural establishments in the country, which are around 4.53 crores, they employ less than 100 workers. So this is a data of 2013-14. So these less than 100 workers means they are allowed to retrench workers without government permission. So it says that the proposal will impact only a small proportion of total establishments. But in percentage, it is a small proportion. But if you look at individually and in numbers, it will be a huge amount of workers involved. So if it is a very small proportion, then the government would not be interested in doing it too. But it is significant because why they are proposing it? Because they say this will help in giving the firms flexibility in hiring and firing employees. So labor laws making them lax so that the industries benefit. So workers' welfare is one aspect and industrial benefit, and economy as a whole will also benefit. That is what the balance has to be maintained. So let's see what would happen further on this and how the labor unions would react to this. Also, another proposal of Labour Ministry was to integrate the 3 labor laws. So rationalizing the labor reform laws as such is also proposed. So this is Trade Unions Act, Industrial Disputes Act and Industrial Employment Standing Orders Act. They should come into a single code. So single labor law code for industrial relations should be there. Is also another proposal which Labour Ministry had put forth in 2015 along with this 300 workers limit proposal. Presently, it is 500 workers limit. They should not be required to take government permission. Then the next news item is Delhi allows Dhaka to use border roads. So this is actually India allowing Bangladesh. So these are the capitals named here, allowing Bangladesh to use border roads. So Bangladesh in this Chittagong region, which is a hilly tract, it is inhospitable terrain. So it's not a plain surface. So laying down roads there is difficult. So that is why India has allowed Chittagong to use the roads in Tripura and Mizoram for developing these border outposts. So Tripura, Mizoram border Bangladesh here near Chittagong. So you can see Chittagong is here. This is Bangladesh. So the states bordering here towards the west are West Bengal. Then this is West Bengal. Then comes Assam, Meghalaya. And this is Tripura and Mizoram. So Tripura, Mizoram are close to Chittagong. So this border roads here would be used to develop border outposts by Bangladesh. So this permission has been given by India presently. So BSF, Border Security Force, will be deployed, which is deployed along the Bangladesh border. So India-Pakistan border is taken care of BSF, and Pakistan divided, further separated and out into Bangladesh was formed. That is, East Pakistan was formed as Bangladesh in 1971, but BSF still continues to be deployed along the border, India-Bangladesh border. So it will monitor the construction work. BSF will monitor this work. Also, another on the same lines, another proposal which is there from India to Bangladesh is on insurgent camps, because this Chittagong region is a hilly terrain and is hilly tract. That is why it is seen that many insurgent groups, means who are bringing in violent activities, conducting violent activities in the country, they, in this specifically in the northeast, they hide into this Chittagong hill tract area. So they move out and enter into Bangladesh and hide here. So many a times India has provided leads to Bangladesh, and Bangladesh has taken action against these camps and demolished them. So these are insurgent camps which are there functioning against India. So Bangladesh helps us in this manner. So presently also we have given, BSF has handed over Bangladesh a list of 21 insurgent camps, but presently denied that there is no such camp in Bangladesh anymore. There is no such activity tolerated on the Bangladesh side. So that is also there. So because terrorists here, you can understand the northeastern separatist groups which are there. They conduct activities here, and then when the ambush takes place, when they are trailed, they enter into Chittagong and hide here. Then the next news item is India building a supercomputer juggernaut. So India is planning to unveil its most powerful supercomputer till date. So it will be unveiled in June most probably, and its full capacity is 10 petaflops. So if it's able to operate at this 10 petaflops, peta means 10 raised to 15 and flops means floating point operations per second, means it can conduct these many floating point operations in 1 second. So this, if it is able to achieve this capacity of speed, then it would come in the category of top 10 supercomputers in the world. It can come in that list. It has been only once since 1990s we have come in this list of top 10 supercomputers in the world in 2007. This was the ECA supercomputer, which was built by Computational Research Laboratory of Tata Group. So presently, this present supercomputer which is being built, it has not yet been named, and it is being jointly hosted by, it will be jointly hosted by Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Pune, and National Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasting in Noida, UP. So these two, as you can understand, so it would be used for weather forecasting specifically. So means it would help in understanding the monsoon. The dynamic model would be taken in. So if you give 1 month's data, as such, so it will be able to give you actual weather conditions, how would they be in the forthcoming months of monsoon, that is June to September. So this will be its major functioning. Other aspects on which it can be used, it says that for the first time colleges and other research institutions will also be allowed to log in and harness its powers to address problems ranging from weather modeling to understanding how proteins fold, etc. So for other activities too it would be used. So this is the supercomputer India is building. So these are the present supercomputers in 2016. So this is Sunway Tianhu Light, that is of China, at number 1 position. Then Tianhe 2, which was earlier at number 1. So this is again of China. Titan is of USA. Then Sequoia, which is of USA again. And at 5th position, it's Japanese supercomputer, K computer. Then the next news item is NIA team quizzes Nepal businessman Hoda. This news we have discussed earlier too. This is Shamsul Hoda, who has been arrested by Nepal police on a double murder charge, and NIA, National Investigation Agency, is now in Nepal to quiz this businessman, because it has been speculated that the people who have been arrested from Bihar in the charges of building an IED. They had planted an IED in this Ghurasahan in Bihar. So on the railway tracks to cause an explosion here. They had named him, and it was said that he has been undertaking such explosive activities on the behest of Pakistan's ISI. inter-service intelligence. So this linkage is being tested and he has been questioned, and as a response he has admitted that he was asked by a Pakistani man, his name is Shafi Sheikh, whom he had met in Dubai, that on his behest he had initiated this planting of explosives on railway tracks in Bihar, Khurasan and another Nakardehi in Bihar. So these were detected and they did not result in any casualties. But the other explosives, but other regions where train derailments have already taken place. So this is Pukhrayan near Kanpur and Kuneru in Andhra Pradesh. So in these cases, he has denied any involvement. So that has come out from the present interrogation which has taken place. So this investigation is being done by NIA because it is said that so in these cases number of deaths took place too. In Kanpur it was Indore-Patna Express which got derailed at Pukhrayan near Kanpur, in which 140 people died. So this was in November 2016, and in Jan 2017 presently in Kuneru, Andhra Pradesh, another train derailment took place which resulted in 41 people dying. So whether there were IEDs planted here too and did that result in such a train derailment is being investigated into by NIA. And NIA has not still concluded its investigation. It is interrogating him to look into the angle, whether such an angle is also there. Nepal police has always been, earlier to it has said that it was skeptical that whether Huda can have such links in train derailments which have taken place in Kanpur and Andhra Pradesh. But this was the case was handed over to NIA after Railway Ministry asked Home Ministry that there are chances of sabotage in at least 6 train accidents which have taken place. So sabotage means somebody purposely trying to cause destruction. Then the next news item is Baloch leader says he will seek India's help. So this is Balochistan leader Amir Ahmad Suleiman Daud. So he is actually living in exile in UK for last few years now, and he is also known as His Highness the Khan of Kalat. So Kalat was the sovereign state in Pakistan region presently. So at the time of British rule, it was an independent sovereign state as such, and Pakistan is accused of colonizing it. So it had taken over Kalat as such when the independence came forth and Pakistan was formed as an independent nation. So you should know Britishers during that time had allowed the princely states to join either India or Pakistan or stay independent. So Kalat alleges that Pakistan colonized it rather than seeking its consent and acquiring it. So Balochistan has been under unrest for so long, since independence. And Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, he had mentioned this regarding the conditions in Balochistan during his Independence Day speech on August 15, 2016. So last year he had mentioned this. So at that time the response had come from him that we are thankful for the support from India, and Baloch leader presently also he says that he will seek India's help. So this is regarding Balochistan. So it wants independence. So it's an insurgency which is taking place here, which is what Pakistan calls. Even this Gwadar port is located here. This was the route originally planned from Kashgar to Gwadar, CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Also, this has been modified so that it does not pass through this region of unrest. So that is the CPEC also passing through it. Baloch Liberation Army is designated as a terror outfit by Pakistan. So Lashkar-e-Baloch, they are all these militant groups who have been formed in Balochistan fighting for independence. So you can see. So Kalat, they had decided they would be independent before independence. And they declared independence also on 15th August 1947. But in March 1948, Pakistan annexed Kalat and it came, Balochistan, this region came under it. Then the next news item is wind tariffs at a low of rupees 3.46 per unit. So this was India's first ever auction of wind energy projects which had taken place by the government-owned Solar Energy Corporation of India. So this was for 1 gigawatts of wind capacity. So here wind power tariffs means how much at what tariff would you provide wind power was the basis on which auctioning took place, and the tariff, this auctioning closed at 3.46 per kilowatt hour. So this is quite low. So this would be beneficial for India, means wind energy would be used at and can be utilized at such low rates. So what would happen is those who have bid and won those rights, they will set up this wind capacity projects, means up to set up these 250 megawatts of wind capacity in a location of their choice, and they will sell the energy generated to a state-run power trading corporation. So this has been won by these groups you can see. Mitra, Green Infra, Inox and Austro Energy. So that is there. The two states which are under consideration for these projects are Tamil Nadu and Gujarat. So if you look at the wind energy potential, where the wind energy potential in India lies, so this is shown here, wind power density. So the red regions are the ones, then yellow regions are the ones with the maximum actually. So this is the wind energy potential. Yellow, then the green ones we don't have. Purple is a little up here you can see, then comes red. So these regions have more wind energy potential. The blue regions are actually not having much wind energy potential. So projects can be set up, you can see in Gujarat, Maharashtra, the Western Ghats region here, Tamil Nadu, this is Karnataka. So presently the two states which are under consideration, as it is said, is Tamil Nadu and Gujarat. So now this has also come after the low tariff which we have seen in solar energy. So solar tariffs have also fallen to rupees 2.97 per unit when this auction was done in Rewa in Madhya Pradesh for the projects here. So this shows that these organizations, they have the confidence that they can deliver projects at such competitive rates. So they are globally competitive rates at which India will also generate renewable energy, and they will be provided to these power trading corporations in the states. So that is the news here. But then another point which is highlighted is that low tariffs would be a problem for developers too, to some extent, because they will have to shift focus on ensuring that costs are low. So quality plus cost low should be emphasized on, is clear. So we'll wait and watch how does it unfold now. So this is regarding the solar auctions in Rewa. So it went down to a 2.97. That was here. This is the solar energy potential in the country too. You can see the darkest color is the maximum potential. So that is seen in majorly in Gujarat, Rajasthan, then the Deccan region here. And the other regions do not have much wind energy potential. The least is in Arunachal Pradesh. Then this is wind power density, which we already saw. The next news item is note ban sucked cash like vacuum cleaner, IMF. So the International Monetary Fund is saying that the demonetization which took place in India, it sucked all the cash like a vacuum cleaner. Means so much amount of money went out of circulation in one go. But then the replacing of the currency is taking place slowly. So this is what it says, that in many cases we see helicopter drops of money, which is an unconventional monetary policy which does take place. So helicopter drop actually means that amount of money, some amount of money is put into the economy, like a helicopter drop. So in cases of emergency or unsuitable terrain, you see helicopters dropping whatever requirements are there. So this is a terminology which is used in economy, that money is provided into the economy, stimulus being provided so that people have the money and they spend. So this so-called helicopter drops of money does take place, but presently demonetization initiative is the reverse of this. This is vacuum cleaner which has been done on the economy, and this has affected the country's growth rate. So the projection of IMF also for India has gone down to 6.6% for 2016-17. It says that it will rebound to 7.2% by 2017-18. So private consumption has been disrupted presently because of lack of cash shortages. So that is there. It says that gradually this effect will dissipate by March 2017. So this is the IMF. About the IMF, it is called Bretton Woods Twins. It was formed in 1944 along with World Bank. So it is headquartered in Washington as both of them. And what it provides is actually loans to low-income economies to manage their balance of payment. So balance of payment, if there's an issue, then financial assistance is provided. So that is BOP problems. So loans are given to countries with BOP problems and also to low income countries at concessional rates. That is there. It also provides technical assistance and support on various issues as well, or related to macroeconomic policy. So financial assistance, technical assistance, and also surveillance, means economic advice analysis is also done by IMF. So it brings out its reports, regional economic outlook, reports, financial stability report. So all these reports also come in. Then this is the comparison between IMF and World Bank. So this is looking into international monetary system worldwide, and this is to promote economic development in the poorer countries. So this is for promoting exchange stability and orderly exchange relations, and this is to assist developing countries through long-term financing. So it assists all members, and this assists poorest developing countries. And its financial resources are from the quota subscriptions of its members, and this acquires its financial resources by borrowing in the international bond market. So this quota system in IMF and the equivalent SDRs which are given to the countries are well known. These are special drawing rights. So each country, based on the amount of quota which it has, it gets SDRs. So they become as an asset which they can have in their foreign exchange reserve as well. So these SDRs are there. Then, and these are based, their value is based on the value of the hard currencies only, the currency basket which they have. Recently, even yuan, Chinese currency, was added into this currency basket of IMF. So that is there. So that is about the differences. Then the next news item is bad banks to help speed up stressed assets resolution. Fitch. So this Fitch Ratings is an international credit rating agency. So it has said that bad bank idea, which has been put forth in the economic survey too. So this will help in resolution of stressed assets. So stressed assets means assets which are under pressure, means which are, may become non-performing assets also. So these stressed assets can be given to a bad bank. So bad bank most likely will come up as an asset reconstruction company. So it says this is the most likely form. So in these companies, the idea is also that the largest and most complex cases will be taken up. So there is a need for making politically tough decisions on these, because these debts have to be reduced. So the large debts which are there, they would be, either there should be money has to be brought in by the government. So because the non-performing assets which we have in the country, a major proportion of it is with public sector banks. Private sector banks also have NPAs, but they are much more in public sector banks. So then they have to be supported by the government, because if they continue with these stressed assets and non-performing assets, then their balance sheets remain unfavorable, and it affects their functioning. So it affects the ongoing business needs also. They have the problems with further lending also, and their ratings also go low. So those problems are there. That is why it is said that government will have to take in steps here, and it will have to induce money. So it has already said that recapitalization of banks, public sector banks, would take place by the government. So this way or the other, even with the asset reconstruction company too, money would have to be infused by the government. So it also says that around $90 billion would be required as a total capital requirement for these banks, so that they can also fulfill the Basel III standards. So these are the standards for banks, that what should be the capital to risk weighted asset ratio and other requirements for the banks to function without under risk. So that is there. So let's see, because it's putting pressure on the profitability of the banks, and they cannot further lend also now because of these stressed assets. So some solution is required. Either these debts have to be foregone, so they should be allowed to be taken over by the government. So government pays on their behalf. So now what steps would be taken, we'll have to wait and watch, as the economic survey has also spoken about it, and now Fitch Ratings, the rating agency, is also speaking on this issue of stressed assets, and bad banks can help to speed up their resolution. So these are the Basel III norms too. So the liquidity requirements for the banks, so how much of money they should have with them so that they can overcome any financial crisis. So this was actually revised after the 2008-9 global financial crisis. So capital adequacy ratio, etc., is emphasized on now further. Then the credit rating agencies which are there, they give credit rating to various corporations, local government, countries are also given credit rating as such. So this helps the other entities, means foreign investors who are also there, how much they should invest in the country and how risky it may be. So this is what these credit rating agencies undertake. So they calculate is based on financial history, current assets and liabilities. So that is there. So you can see a credit rating tells a lender or investor the probability of the subject being able to meet payment requirements for interest and principal repayment. So that is a credit rating given. So this is there. So it's very important that what is the credit rating of the country too. So India is also given rating by these credit rating agencies. So they help in investors to understand that how much they should invest and how much they should price, how much interest would be required to be paid for loans, etc. So all this depends on credit ratings. So that is why having strong credit ratings is important for countries. Even for companies are also given these credit ratings as such. So major credit rating agencies, there are three major credit rating agencies: Fitch Ratings, Standards and Poor, and Moody. So these are the two. Moody's. So they have been there. Presently, the largest one is Standards and Poor. The first one to have been set up is Moody's. It's the oldest. And now Fitch Ratings has become the smallest amongst the three. Then the next news item is Arctic Vault receives new seed deposits. So this is regarding Svalbard Global Seed Vault. So this is a gene bank. So it contains actually the seeds of all important global food crops. So the genes are to be stored, means the original seeds as such samples are stored here. So it's the world's largest repository. And the purpose is to safeguard all global food crops, even if they're wiped out due to a natural disaster, of war, or any disaster as such, it will always be safeguarded. So that is the purpose. So such gene banks are located, seeds are stored in various countries also. But this is the world's largest repository. It is located on an Arctic island. It's an isolated island in Norway where it is located, Svalbard. So this is 1,000 kilometers from the North Pole. It was opened in 2008, and since then it has a huge repository of seeds, and even recently 50,000 new samples of seeds were added, and these include some seeds which have been given by India as well. So all various varieties are there of food crops. So these genes would be stored. So it's a gene bank that way. So this presently also another thing was that in 2015, these seeds which have been returned, amongst them there are 15,000 seeds which have been returned by this group which had borrowed. So this was the first time that borrowing had also taken place in 2015. So these borrowed seeds have been also been reconstituted, multiplied, and returned. So this is the first time that this has also taken place. Means if actually something happens, then borrowing from this gene bank and reconstituting and returning has been possible, shows the success of this gene bank and how it can actually function in allowing this to take place if in future global food crops are wiped out. So climate change and such things are also a huge risk factor in the world. So that is the basis from on which this was done. And this retrieving for the first time was done because this group, Center for Agricultural Research, which has said that the Aleppo, Syrian city, was where the gene bank of the specimen was located, and this could not be retrieved by the agency which was demanding this specimen because it is war-torn. So Syria is under war. So that is why it could not regenerate and distribute the breeders and researchers the various seeds, because its gene bank could not be accessed. So that is why this retrieval was done from this Svalbard seed vault. And they had reconstituted, multiplied, and returned. So that is the success here. This is the Svalbard seed vault. This is the entrance. You can see Svalbard is located here. And these are the vault rooms. So this, you can see the details given here. So protect from various catastrophes, nuclear war, asteroid strike, climate change. It would protect all seeds against plant diseases also. So these are clean seeds which are stored, disease-free seeds. So this is the storage site in Norway, you can see. And this is the entrance and the storage rooms. And it is in permafrost condition, means temperature is kept stable at 0 degree Fahrenheit, means minus 18 degrees Celsius, by electrically powered freezer units. And even if technical breakdown takes place, still temperature will never exceed minus 4 degrees Celsius. So that is how it is maintained here. The next news item is rare luminous nebula poses cosmic puzzle. So this is a rare nebula. So nebula is a blob of gas which is glowing, and this is the nebula is actually the main source from which all the galaxies and various stars etc. are also formed. So stars are formed from nebula. So nebula are present in various galaxies, and there are huge number of galaxies in the universe. One of the galaxies in the universe is Milky Way, and in the Milky Way too, at the periphery, one of the stars is the sun. And around the sun, we have all the entire solar system comprising of various planets, dwarf planets, asteroids, comets. So that is located here. And we are one of the planets here, the Earth, on one of the planets. So the universe is huge. So in this one of the galaxies, it is seen that which is 10 billion light years away. So this is 10 billion light years means this is a distance. So light year is a unit for distance. So distance traveled by light in 1 year is 1 light year. So distance traveled by light in 1 second is 3 into 10 raised to 8 meters. 3 into 10 raised to 8 meters per second is the speed of light. So you can imagine 1 light year. In 1 second, this is the distance, and in 1 year, what would be the distance? And 10 billion light years. What distance would it be? So at this distance, this extraordinary phenomena has been seen, that this nebula which is there, Elan, so this is glowing. So this is glowing, and the source, because of its source of light for it is not known. So there's no obvious source as such why it is glowing. So this has been spotted. It has been named as Mammoth 1. So this is also a region which has extraordinary concentration of galaxies. So there are massive overdensity of early galaxies here. So they are called protocluster. So this has been discovered through a research which had been undertaken, and this is in news. So these are the news items. Thank you.